Welcome, golf degenerates. This is Right Click Print Money, the golf betting podcast focused on making paper for the masses. I am your host, SportsGuyTy, joined each week as always by Tmac and ShallowCal. Tonight we're going to be previewing the WGC-Workday Championship at the Concession, giving our best bets for outrights, top 5s, 10s, 20s, and props. As always, the goal is making money, gentlemen. I'm going to start with you, Tin Cup. Tell us about your podcast sauce. What is fueling the creative juices tonight?
I got no alcohol in me tonight, gentlemen. I've got a super long day tomorrow, 2 closings, 2 final walkthroughs, cat to the vet at 7 in the morning, 4 or 5 showing tours. It's going to be too long of a day to have that hangover. So I don't have anything too crazy, a cherry Coke.
Oh,
actually fantastic. Yeah, I like it. Not gonna lie.
How many iterations of the Cherry Coke logo did we go through in our childhood? I feel like there was like 5 or 6.
At least 5.
On one.
Yeah.
I mean, the one that I used to love was just like the bluish purple can with the bright cherry right on it, and it had like little speckles. That was my all-time favorite. But
I actually liked the purple can and the purple logo, which was one of the most out there. But that's kind of why I liked it. Always grabbed my attention.
Yep.
Cherry Coke, definitely a staple in our household.
Oh yeah.
All right. Well, ShallowCal, how about you? What's the podcast sauce?
So I've got the newly released Black Hearted Ale from Bell's. It is a black IPA, brewed from its brother, the Two Hearted Ale. So they just made a black IPA. I'm not sure the process, how would they do that, but it is delicious. So go get yourself a Black Hearted IPA.
Okay. Well, I'm back on the Michigan bandwagon as well this week with another farmhand from Brewery Vivant. One of my favorite ales. Gentlemen, before we jump into the betting talk, we are recording this on Tuesday evening, February 23rd. Big news of the day and really of the year so far in golf is Tiger Woods and the car accident.
Scary.
Very scary. What we know at this point, there is non-life-threatening injuries, but you hope and pray the best for Tiger. Scary, sad. It leaves you with a lot of questions about what the future is going to be like for him in this sport.
Yeah, it's golf is definitely not a sport that you need to be an athlete like LeBron James or, anything like that, where you're using your legs to get up and down and jump and run as fast as you possibly can. But the way that Tiger swings that golf club, man, you need to use those legs a lot. It's scary. It's scary that he had to have multiple surgeries on his legs. That makes me think of the last time I heard that with an athlete was Mr. Alex Smith, when you're going in for multiple surgeries in multiple locations. And I mean, look at how that guy is right now. I mean, I can't even believe he made the comeback.
Yeah. I mean, and again, of course, first and foremost, thoughts and prayers are with Tiger and that he makes a full recovery health-wise.
Absolutely.
But when you think about the back surgery that he just had, already tournaments like the Masters were very much a question. You really you worry
He's not
about
playing for the rest of the year, if not 2 years.
Could be longer. I mean, I've had some bad leg issues myself. It's a hard thing, and I can't even imagine having that with back issues as well.
Yep. So we're hoping that the big cat gets on the prowl quickly again because golf is better always with Tiger Woods in it.
Yeah.
Let's turn
disappointed in him though. I mean, if Vincent Chase can afford to pay Turtle to drive him around, Tiger should he should never be behind the wheel of a car again. Ever. Honestly, there's no reason.
I heard an interesting conversation on Golf Channel today about that and about Tiger's personality as an alpha male. And it's just something he does. He's never had a driver, has refused one, wants to be behind the wheel. It makes sense. You think about what has driven him to be one of the best golfers of all time is probably bleeds into many aspects of his personality.
Yeah, I guess so. But, if it's 6 feet under or standing 6 feet tall, choose one or the other. Guess you got to go with 6 feet tall.
You're right about that. All right, well, let's recap the Genesis Invitational quickly because another huge week for the Right Click Print Money podcast. Max Homa. You heard it here first. You didn't hear it many other places in general last week, but gentlemen, all three of us were on the outright winner at the Riv. Tin Cup, you got him, Tmac, you got him at 55-1, ShallowCal 60-1. After shopping around a little bit, actually cashing out a 60-1 ticket for a small 50-cent loss. I got him at 7-1, but gentlemen,
70-1
felt good. 70-1.
Yeah, you were talking about cashing that small little 50 center out and just losing the money and getting the longer odds. You should have just kept that 50 cents in there and just bet them at 70-1. You know,
Well,
you'd had yourself.
No, it only cost me 50 cents to take it out. That's what I'm saying. But I should have just put down another unit on on him at 70.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you that
or at least rolled that 50 cents into it. You know what I'm saying? That you're getting back.
I'll tell you the 18-1 with Berger felt great, but not even scratching the surface when you hit that 55-1. Let's go, Homa. Love it.
Like what was going through your guys' head when he hit that shot on 18 and then missed the putt? Because I was sitting next to my girlfriend, and she had just taken the LSATs, and I saw that shot on 18, and I was just like super pumped, and she's just like sitting there, you know, like, oh my God, I can't believe this guy. And then he missed the putt, and I immediately just threw my head in my hands. I couldn't believe it.
How did you?
I thought Tony was going to win one. Well, I didn't see it, actually. I was working, so I heard it on the radio. I've been listening to PGA radio pretty much nonstop on Sirius Satellite, and it was about as exciting as a golf announcer can make it.
So I heard and saw a combo as well. We were actually on our way back from Cincinnati. My wife and I and our son were visiting sister-in-law, brother-in-law, and our little niece down there. And so I was driving for essentially the entire final round, and I was listening to it, first of all, on my AirPod. I probably shouldn't admit that, but I didn't want to bore my wife with golf. And so, I just stuck it in the ear, and I was kind of listening while everything else was going on in the car, keeping an eye on the kid and everything. But I was also, eventually I got in the back seat and I had my phone on. And so I was able to watch it on PGA Tour Live, but I was about a minute or two delayed. And so our group mate was going crazy, like as everything was happening. And then I was getting text messages from both of you. I'm in another, betting chain with a couple of our buddies. I'm getting text. So I can see all these alerts popping up, and I can essentially deduce what's happening, and I know when it's really good and it's really bad based on how quickly they're coming and who's saying them, and then I'm catching up like a minute or two later. So finally I just had to mute all alerts, and I put it on PGA Tour Live, sat in the back seat of the car. I watched him miss that 3.5 foot putt, screamed, almost made my wife run off the road, but was able to bring it home and watch the 2 playoff holes for the big victory.
Yeah, that was, and then that Finau missed that putt on 10. What was it, 10 to? Oh man,
to not
Homa,
hit up and down from that drive.
For Homa to hit that ball off of that tree and that lie and get it as close as he did was damn impressive. That might have been the shot of the tournament right there.
Oh yeah.
I love Max Homa's approach and just his outlook on life. If you watch any interviews with him, he's a super happy dude. And if you watch him walking up to that ball, his expression never changed. There was never like a sulking of the shoulders, a shrug, woe is me. I mean, he just walked up to it like he was going to own that shot, and he did. And he talked about afterwards how he uses positive affirmation. And when he gets in a situation where he's nervous or where something's out of whack, he says 3 things that he's thankful for. And it just kept him even keel. And he tossed that shot to get there in 4 from the tree.
Yeah, definitely. The funny thing is I had Finau too as an outright on my card. So it's like, okay, do I want 27-1 or do I want the 60-1? And then, obviously, you get a little greedy when you got both the guys in the playoffs. So
I also had Finau on the card.
Did either one of you at any point think about cashing out because of Finau? Because I saw this all over golf Twitter.
So the one that I would have cashed out was when Finau was 18. I could have cashed out Finau for 18-1 odds when he was, I think, when I'm not sure at what point it was, but I thought about that because then if I cash out Finau, I'm only losing, 9-1 odds there on that cash out. And then if he loses and Homa wins, that's like that's like getting him at 78-1. So
Right.
it crossed my mind, but only for Finau, because there's no way in hell I was cashing out Homa and maxing that out. And that
No way you can hedge on Max at those
Nah.
numbers. All right. Well, it's been a big couple weeks for all three of us for the podcast. ShallowCal, that's 3 straight outright winners for you. Brooks, Danny Berger, and Mr.
Homa.
Max Homa. Tmac,
sprinkle in a couple top 5s, couple top 10s. It's been a real good few weeks for me.
The card is shining.
Gentlemen, I just got an offer accepted in this market. Sorry, I needed to just say that.
Bigger cards.
Yeah, bigger cards.
Make it rain on some outrights.
How about a sponsorship from a real estate company?
So in addition to T-Mac's two consecutive outright winners, I've now hit long shots of 70-1, 66-1, 55-1, 51 since January. I'm just gonna be the long shot man. I mean, I can't I'm not good at picking the favorites, but I can call them when they're long. Total. What did Homa do to both of your cards at the Genesis Invitational? Total units up or down after T-Mac you cashed the 55-1, ShallowCal the 60-1 for you.
So just what he did, or what did I end up in total?
Total for your card at the Genesis.
It would have been, because I also hit on a couple of ladders. I'd actually have to go back and check. It was probably plus 40, plus 50, somewhere in that range.
Not prepared. ShallowCal, what about you?
54.
Up 54 units.
So divide that in half. That's 27.
Up 27 units.
Up 27 units. Yeah, because I go half. I do half units each bet, depending on how I like it, what I see. So yeah, 20 up 27 units total for that, which is I'm cool with that one. That's great.
70-1 was big for me. 61.5 unit win on the Genesis Invitational. I'm now up 43.75 units for the year. What we're going to do for the next podcast, we're going to get our betting spreadsheet up to recap previous picks, total units, where we stand. We're going to put that on a Google Drive, tweet it out from the new Twitter account, right-click picks, so you can track all of our bets every week where we come in, total units up or down at the tournament and for the year. Gentlemen, let's jump into it. WGC-Workday Championship at the Concession, moved from Mexico because of COVID. Brand new tournament. First time the course has hosted a professional event. Yeah. What do we know about it?
So the one most important thing is that it's actually officially, this is on the Tampa Bay area website. It's the only official reason to actually travel to the Tampa Bay area is for that golf course. There's no other reason to go down there. It's a 72 par, almost 7,500 yards. So it's going to be a little bit longer than what we've seen the past 3-4 weeks. It's a Jack Nicklaus and Tony Jacklin design course. It's pretty much a typical Florida course. You got a lot of water, you got a lot of sand.
I would say that it's not necessarily your typical. What I was reading is they must have just got the biggest sail on sand ever when they designed this course. And I don't know if you had heard this, Shallow, but I was reading that the layout gives a nod to their infamous meeting in 1969 at the Ryder Cup, where there was a 2-foot putt that was conceded that ended up in a tie.
I did not read that, actually.
So that's where the Concession name comes from. Jack Nicklaus, Tony Jacklin, co-designers of the course. First tie in Ryder Cup history in 1969. And Jacklin is the one who had the 2-foot putt that would have been for the tie. Nicholas conceded it, told him, I don't think you would have missed that putt, Tony, but I wasn't going to give you the opportunity under those circumstances. So pretty cool. They named it.
Sportsmanship at its best, but then it's funny because it's like when they designed it, they said, let's not be very sportsmanlike here. Let's have these really tiny greens, Bermuda grass, which is a little better. But I mean, in the hot Florida sun, I mean, this is going to be a rough outing.
Well, the thing about the greens is that they have their undulating sections, so that makes them, in a sense, even smaller because you're aiming at, these small sections of these already small greens, and if you miss, you're in the sand, you're in a position to three putt very, very easily. And hell, you're
a
even
lot of water guarding greens, like
exactly. You're even in a positions to run off of those greens and into trouble because of the just how steep those undulations are around them.
So I jumped on Google Earth and a couple other imaging software tools to see if I could get a look at this course, because again, the Concession has never hosted a professional tournament.
They've got a nice yardage. They've got a nice yardage map out actually that I was looking at, and it's oh boy,
it's a tough course.
It is a tough course. I'm interested to see how they're going to handle it, not having any professional events here before.
So Paul Azinger, former PGA Tour professional, is a member at Concession, which just opened in 2006. He compared the greens to basically Augusta Light. So as you mentioned, ShallowCal, the undulation. We're probably gonna see a lot of three putts. A lot of the members at Concession are anxious for the pros to get on it because there's this lore that a good score can't be shot at Concession. No one's ever shot a good score at Concession. So what are professional golfers going to do on it? It's a long course. There's a lot of traps, as you both mentioned, the water, the sand. The par fives are beasts. There's probably only two that most of the field are going to be able to get home into on. The par threes, 3 of the 4, I believe it is, are over 200 yards. This feels
Did you see the one that's under 200 yards?
I did.
It's 183 yards, and it's just surrounded by bunker, and you have to go over water. It's
a massive
like, no,
bunker.
thank you.
No, I mean, this is one of those courses where, I mean, it's a WGC event, right? It's supposed to be tough, but this could be a course where even par wins it. Also hosted the 2015 NCAA Championship. Bryson defeated CT Pan there. Anything else? What are you looking at in terms of statistics? Anything that you're homing in on for building your card with these golfers?
I mean, personally, I think fairway and regulation is going to be huge this week. I think you want the guys that are going to be able to set up the second shot, because tiny greens, we need people that can stick them where they want them. And then scrambling, I think, is going to be maybe the second most important thing I look at.
See, I'm dead with you on that scrambling. I'm thinking that's going to be probably the most important statistic of this week. Like, you're scrambling. Can you turn a poor approach shot into a par, into not into bogey, or even you might see some doubles and triples a little more frequently on this course. We really don't know what's in store, having never really seen this before. So
admittedly, this is all kind of a shot in the dark, right? We're speculating based on what we believe to be corollary courses, because we've never seen it in a professional event, as you're saying, Callow. Strokes gained approach, big for me as well.
That's my second one. Right there, baby.
Players with wedges in their hand, gotta find proximity to the hole this week, or you're going to see a lot of three putts. Strokes gained off the tee as well, with so many hazards, the bunkers, the water, everything. You got to be in the fairway if you're going to score on this course. And I want to follow and tag on the best putters on Bermuda. We're in Florida now. We wrapped up the California swing. Next 4 weeks in the Sunshine State, you're going to see a lot of Bermuda grass. A couple guys are going to rise to the top that we're going to talk about very shortly.
Mid to high 80s.
What's that? Mid
to high 80s. Just everything's going to be baking all weekend.
Oh, absolutely. Typical Florida weather. Nice and sticky.
Yep.
No,
So
thanks.
let's jump into our strategy for building cards this week. No picks yet. We're going to come back and give the outrights, top 5s, 10s, 20s shortly. But in terms of approaching a WGC event, are you building a card similar to other PGA Tour events? Is there nuance? Are you going bigger, smaller? ShallowCal first. What are you doing? What's your strategy behind building a card this week?
So this week I'm going with a little bit smaller of a card. First reason is when I opened the odds on Monday morning, I really didn't like a lot of the odds that I was seeing out there. You know, I'm sorry. I didn't like a lot of the odds that I saw out there on Monday morning. You're seeing, all these favorites up there, really packed in tight at the top. So I went with a bunch of mid-range, longer shot guys, not necessarily longer shot, mid-range shots, and it really honed in on a small card this week to try to maximize some of the shorter odds and value that there is this week. And if it only resulted in a 7.5 unit card, so it is what it is.
Well, with a smaller field, not totally unexpected, not all left field at all. Only 73 players in this field, a reason for the shorter odds, combined with the fact that it is the best golfers in the world, right? There are
exactly
the top golfers from the PGA Tour, the European Tour. You've got the Japan Golf Tour Order of Merit, Australasian Tour, Sunshine Tour, and Asian PGA Tour Order of Merit. So it truly is a global golf event with some of the best in the world, much smaller field. Shorter odds aren't necessarily unexpected. Tmac, how does it impact how you are building your card this week?
Yeah, so how I build my card is pretty standard, honestly. First, I just open up BetMGM only really allows me to do outrights first. So I like to go through. I usually bet one or two of the top guys that have not the best odds, but guys that I think will be, in the hunt. Then I go through some of those mid-tier guys, the 20s, the 30s. Then I like to stack on some of the long odds, the 50s, 60s, and as much as 300, 400, 500 to 1 odd sometimes. One of these time, one of those is going to hit, and we're going to have some fun the next week for sure.
How many total units on your card this week?
I think it was 14 this week when I counted it all up, so maybe 15. So actually a little bit less than I normally do. However, it might be 15 and a half now that I just added Chan Kim onto that card at 300 to 1.
And we're going to talk about Chan Kim later.
Cross those fingers for you,
Let's
buddy.
go, baby.
So it's a fairly normal week for me. My standard approach, I typically target between 4 and 8 golfers. I really do a lot of research on a smaller number of guys that I want to target who I think are going to do well at the course. And I'll usually ladder top 5s, top 10 each way tickets on top of those outrights. Always grab a handful of first round leader tickets as I've done this week. Typically my first round leader tickets are focused more on a lot of the golfers I like that didn't make it to my outright cards. Some guys maybe with a little bit longer odds that maybe aren't necessarily coming in with as good a form, but that I think, again, one good round could turn into
somewhere else
something big.
upstairs.
So I'm in a fairly normal spot in terms of total units for my card this week, 14.5. Actually thought that I was going to trend shorter with the smaller field toward 4 or 5 golfers. Wound up going with the 6, which we're going to get into here shortly. And actually, Tmac, why don't you start us off? Outrights for the week. Give me your picks and give me the numbers.
Alrighty. So outrights this week, let's see, I had a total of, I think, 9 outrights, 10 actually now if you count Chan Kim at 300 to 1.
Just spraying.
Spraying, baby. I love it. I think, he's been
wait, so if it's 10, so you have essentially 1/7 of the field in outrights.
Yeah. Well, no, well, yeah. Let me count that right.
Because actually I think I said 71 players earlier. We're actually up to 73 now with the addition of Brandon Grace and Max Homa after his win. So your 10 outrights puts you at about, a 1/7 of the field or so.
Hey, that's what I like to see. At half, most of them are half unit picks. So I'm looking good to hit again. Hopefully it's one of these guys. Then
So we need to do like a value adjustment for your card. And at what point do you drop down where you only need to hit one outright to pay off the card? Because if you're spraying that many units and only putting half units on it, you hit one of those short odds, that's not going to pay off the card.
No.
So far we've been positive, so we're looking good, but we'll
All
see.
Right, hit me with your outrights.
Maybe you should make some adjustments. I got Patrick Reed at 25-1, Fleetwood 40-1, Neiman at 40-1, Cam Smith at 50-1, Brooks at 28-1, John Rahm at 9-1, Victor Hovland 22-1, Matsuyama at 66-1, and Abe Answer at 80-1, and Lonto Griffin at 125-1.
So half the field, yeah, nice.
Yeah, 1/7 of the field. 1/7.
That's right.
So in a class golf tournament where class golfers typically win, since 2016, only 4 times has a player ranked lower than 14 in the official world golf rankings won a WGC. Twice that was match play. 4 winners were Phil, Bubba, Xander, and Kiz. In a field that typically rewards class golfers, you have a lot of long shot outrights. How come?
I like it.
I like it.
It's more fun when I bet.
And honest to goodness, though, I mean, isn't that the whole point of golf betting? We were texting about this earlier this morning. Like, if you're not betting golf to have fun, you're probably not doing it right, because it's pretty damn hard to make a ton of money betting golf.
I mean, the one thing I'll say is, I mean, anyone out there that listens to this, we don't bet money that we can't afford. I mean, if I've got, some rough times ahead, these cards are going to shrink quite a bit. But luckily, I'm in a place where I feel very comfortable. We're not making huge money bets here, but making a couple $100 every week seems pretty fun to me.
And hey, if you're a $100 player and you follow my picks, you're up $4,300, so you are making some money. All right.
Yeah.
ShallowCal, hit me with your outrights.
So outrights. My shortest odds this week for my outright is going to be Mr. Fatty Patty, Patrick. I almost said Patrick Weed. Patrick Reed at 31-1. Good old Tommy Fleetwood for the showing up for the long hairs here. 41-1. Yes, sir. Jason Day, 50-1. I went back to the well again this week. Let's see if we can work that magic. 50-1. Max Homa.
Let it ride, baby.
Let it ride. You did great last week. He's been playing so damn well. I can't even believe they still had him at 50-1. I think that's an incredible value there.
He enters this tournament top 5 or 6 on the tour in form right now.
And then my bomb for this tournament isn't even really a bomb, but he's got so many birdies, like he's Shane Lowry, at 70-1.
Okay, so you went with a number of long shot bets as well. Hoping to cash in big.
It's like not super long shot. So my longest is 70-1. My shortest is 31-1. So I'm right in the not a true long shot, but not a true short odd favorite.
Fading the top of the board as well.
Yeah, I'm fading the top of the board just because the payouts that I was, if I'm going to build a card with, there's 15 guys with odds better than 30-1. I mean, and they're all the best golfers in the world, really the best golfers in the world. It's literally rolling dice. And if you're going to roll dice like that, I want some better odds than what I was seeing.
You are listening to Right Click Print Money. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter at Right Click Picks. I am your host, SportsGuyTy, here with always Tmac and ShallowCal. My outrights this week, I started my card actually with Bryson at 22-1, a name that probably raises some eyebrows and turns a lot of heads after the miscut last week. But for golf, I bet the numbers as much as I bet the players. And Brooks Koepka at the Phoenix Open a couple weeks ago was a perfect example of that strategy. At 50 to 1, I was absolutely in love with the number, much more so than I was the player who had just missed 3 consecutive cuts. And it wound up paying off big, right? And so I think Bryson is another great example this week. As mentioned, he won the 2015 NCAA championship here against CT Pan. That's about the best course knowledge we have to go on. I mean, Webb Simpson's former coach was a member at Concession. Maybe that helps him. But for me, when I was researching Sunday night, I had Bryson graded as a bet all the way down to 20 to 1. And so when I jumped on Monday morning, I knew that his odds were going to be longer because of the missed cut. Saw it at 22 to 1. Basically an auto bet for me. Do I think he wins it this week? Probably not. But again, I'm betting that number at 22 to 1 on Bryson. I'm also going Tyrrell Hatton 22 to 1, the angry European golfer, a grinder at a course for grinders. Going back to Koepka at 28 to 1 because there's no way that he should be close to 30 after winning the 30s after winning 3 weeks ago. Danny Berger at 30 to 1. Let me drop a stat for you here. He is top 20 in this field in strokes gained on Bermuda the last 24 rounds. The only player in the top 20 in tee to green, ball striking, and putting. Danny Berger.
I almost went with Danny Berger. He's also, like you said, he's also been in fantastic form this last 2 months now.
Comes in incredible form.
Yeah.
And then Sung Jae Im for me, 40 to 1 of all players in the field, most strokes gained in Florida the last 2 years. Love him on Bermuda. And then I round out my card with my one long shot, Cam Smith, 60 to 1. Big play on his current form, but also he grew up in Brisbane playing on golf courses with a lot of Bermuda greens, very similar to what you're going to see in the Florida swing. I think Cam Smith, not only live this week, I love him next week at the Arnold Palmer Invitational. I also think Players in Honda, he's live too.
You know what they say, man, throw another shrimp on the barbie, right?
Throw one on for Cam. All right, well, let's hit our top 5s, 10s, 20s, and then we'll circle back around because I know Tmac, you have a few props as well. ShallowCal, start us off. Any top 10s, 5s for you this week?
Yeah, so let's go with my top 5s first. You got an outright on him, SportsGuyTy, and his name happens to be Ty. That's Ty Hatton or Tyrell. I got him for a top 5. Tommy Fleetwood, Abe Answer, Cam Smith are round out my top 5 picks. I got Cam Smith at plus 850, Abe Answer at 15 to 1, which I thought was a pretty good value for a top 5. He's definitely someone who can knock that one out of the park.
Shorter hitter. I worry about him a little bit at Concession, but fine approach game.
Yes, that was what I was thinking. And then my top 10s, Big Willie Z. He is like
Big Willie Z season.
He's if he was on tour, I mean, he basically is on tour, but he's not officially on tour, right? He would be like tied for 20, even top 30 in FedEx Cup points right now. The kid can play, and he has been balling.
Officially a rookie,
yes. So I got Big Willie Z. I've got and Colin Morikawa on my top 10s, and then I'll leave the first round leaders for the next segment here and let you guys go with your top 5 and 10s.
I'll come back to you because I got some first round leaders as well. Tmac, where'd you land on your top 5s, 10s, 20s?
So I did this last week with my top 5s, 10s, and 20s, kind of laddered a few guys, added a couple guys that, I mean, the odds aren't huge on these, but I found they just kept peppering some W's for me, and it was nice, to check back on my account and just keep seeing more and more money in there. So
I've got print money, baby.
Exactly. I've got DJ at plus 140, Xander at plus 225, and Rahm at plus 175 for my top 5s. Top 10, I've got Xander at plus 120, Tony Finau at plus 140, Patrick Reed at plus 250, Neiman at plus 275, and Tommy Fleetwood at plus 333. In my top 20s, I got Neiman at plus 100, Fleetwood at plus 140. I've got Luis at plus 140, and Ryan Palmer at plus 175.
I have a question. Who was your plus 333?
Tommy
Fleetwood?
Yep.
You worried about that little Nicky number? That's like the spawn of Satan number, it's half a 666.
No, I hit that last week with DJ. I hit my plus 333.
There you go.
I don't believe any of that hocus pocus bullshit.
Yeah, I mean, but I'm just saying, at Chick-fil-A, they actually rounded up a penny. If you didn't know that.
Wow.
Yeah.
They rounded up a penny. They don't take it off.
I guess.
I would literally just be like, no, you're not getting that penny.
Yeah, of course you are.
All right, so I've taken a similar strategy for my top 5s and 10s as Tmac, and as I do most weeks, it's consistently worked for me, so why change it now? I ladder my outrights as well with a top 5 and top 10 each way bet. So I typically go 1 unit on my outrights, which I've done for each of the 6 this week, and then I'm going a half unit each on a top 5 and a top 5 and a top 10 to essentially combine that for my makeshift each way. Bryson 4.5 to 1 on the top 5, 2 to 1 on the top 10. Tyrrell 5 to 1 top 5, 2.5 top 10. Koepka 5 to 1, 2.5 to 1. Berger 5.5 to 1, 2.4 to 1. Sungjae 8 to 1 top 5, 3.35 top 10. Cam Smith 9 to 1 and 3.6 top 10. Callow, what you got for your first round leaders?
I'm gonna go with throw another shrimp on the Barbie boy. Cam Smith at 40 to 1 for your first round leader. He could go out there in my eyes and fire away at this course, especially since, like we've said before and we've stated, this is really a toss up. We have no clue what's going to happen this week. I've got Leishman at 60 to 1, Patrick Reed 33 to 1. And Bryson at 22 to 1. So hopefully we can get some value out of one of those guys and spike something big here.
Okay. Well, I'm looking to do the exact same thing. I've got 5 first round leader bets as well, each a half unit. I mean, you want to go out there and just grab that money early on and just pay off the card on day 1 and sit back and enjoy the rest of it. Always my theory behind the first round leaders, but I'm on Rory 22 to 1, Victor Hovland 33 to 1, Colin Morikawa at 40 to 1, Tommy Fleetwood at 45 to 1. Do I think he has 4 rounds in it to win this tournament against this field? No. I want a piece of him though in that first round leader action. And then Sergio 60 to 1.
Serge.
He's another guy. He's the great unknown on a course of great unknowns. So maybe he rises up and grabs one. All right, T-Mac, I know you got some props to throw at us as well.
Yeah, I only got 2 so far this week, but tournament winner not in the final group in the final round. That's at 2 to 1. And then I've got Dustin Johnson, same one that I had last week that won. Dustin Johnson will be in the final group in the final round, but this week it's at plus 350.
Okay.
Oh,
and you
okay.
you do not field. You don't have a Dustin Johnson outright, right?
I don't remember. I have so many. Let me check. I do not have a Dustin Johnson outright.
All right, because you're betting on him to be in the final group, but the winner not to come from the final group. I like that.
Yeah, stacking those.
Yeah, not a lot of value on DJ this week, but again, probably priced pretty fairly, honestly, for the way that he's playing golf right now.
Yeah.
All right, gentlemen, give me your final rundown. Where'd you land total units on your card this week? The WGC, ShallowCal, go.
7.5 units on the WGC this week. It's not a big card for me. I didn't like a lot of the odds that I saw on the outright guys being bunched so closely at the top, and with even the middle tier guys being pretty damn good players themselves. So I didn't toss a lot on there. A few top 5s, a few top 10s, and even those, again, those odds were pretty short coming in there. So I actually think I have more. I think I have as many outrights as I do first round leader bets in that, because the outright leader or the first round leader odds were longer and better than most of the outrights.
And you only got to do it once for a first round leader ticket.
You only got to do it once.
Just
Exactly.
the right ones. It's got to be that first one.
Exactly.
All right, Tmac, where'd you land? How many units on the card this week?
15 units on the card for this tournament and 1 unit on the card for the Cologuard.
Who's your Cologuard pick for the week?
I got Phil at 4-1, baby.
4-1's a great number on Phil at the Cologuard.
BJ Singh's going to ruin your weekend there.
The ageless wonder, BJ Singh. All right. Well, you have been listening to Right Click Print Money. Again, follow us on Twitter at Right Click Picks. We're going to post all of our picks, our cards there. We're going to get some spreadsheets out there for you this weekend as well. Link to it so you can track everything. We're coming to you on YouTube right now. We're also going to get this on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, all the sites within the next few weeks here. We will let you know when that happens. I am your host, SportsGuyTy. Was joined as always by my very esteemed co-hosts, Tmac and ShallowCal. Gentlemen, let's get out there and right-click print some money.
Yes, sir. Cheers.
Cheers.